Hello, everyone, and welcome back to a new episode of Lunch and Debates. I am your co-host Dibo, along with my other co-host Matt.
How you doing? You pointed to the wrong way, but we'll ignore
I
it.
did point the wrong way, but hey, it don't
It's
matter
okay.
though, because we're
They
still
don't
here.
know. They don't know how tricky that this camera is because it's like inverse. It's complete opposite.
Yeah, so that confused me. But hey, man, we're here for another episode. Wednesday, June 8th. Of course, the day after Game 3 went down, and yeah, man, we got a very packed episode for today. So I hope y'all enjoy it.
No, no doubt, no doubt. How's your summer been so far? A little small talk before we get into it.
Solid, low key solid, just doing work. For this page, this whole brand. And we're getting to we just hit 5K on TikTok actually. We're about to hit 1K on Instagram. So
Yep.
thank you. Thank you guys so much for that, for the love and support. Appreciate that. I've been trying to look for a job too, like a part-time job to get like extra money, but that has been working out. I tried applying places, but so far no luck. So hey, but we
No,
move.
You know Todd Sharp. But
Yeah, of course. Like that's
he
my
was
guy, man.
because yeah, he just got back in town. He was at Mesa, but he was telling me like he was looking for jobs all over, and he had to go. Like the closest job that he could find was like 30, 40 minutes away. He's like, nobody's hiring right now.
Bro, I thought it was just a me thing because it was like, yo, man, I'm looking at Indeed right now and I'm trying to look at current job openings. I apply, and then a day later I get like, oh yeah, we've looked at your resume, and da 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 da, and you're not the guy that fits the criteria for now. I'm like, bro, like you're hiring. It's a part-time job. It's 14 an hour, man. Like, bro, like cut a guy some slack.
Yeah.
Let me help you. I want money. Y'all want my time and effort. Let's do
Hmm.
something real quick. That's crazy.
No, fact. So you know why you need a job though? You know why you need a job though? Because
And why's that?
your other account, you had to post this. I don't know if it came up on my feed yesterday, but shout out MLS Sideline Reports. But Messi made a move yesterday to go to Inter Miami. You know when he's coming to Colorado, we're buying tickets. No ifs,
Bro,
ands, or buts
we're
about it.
I swear to God, bro, we're gonna go crazy.
Bro,
Dick's
we
Sporting
have to
Goods,
be there.
bro. Dick's Sporting Goods Park will be a movie next season when he pulls
Bro,
up.
that's the first time it's gonna sell out in club history.
Bro, I mean, don't come on, man. Don't do that.
Well, you think the Tim
Don't
Howard
do
days?
that,
Tim
bro.
Howard days when we made playoffs, that's probably the last time they sold out.
Yeah, that's when it was like jam packed. But
Jermaine Jones was
yo,
insane back then, bro.
that's true. That's true. But about the Messi signing, man, this is crazy. Um, he passed up it was over $1 billion contract from Saudi Arabia. I think it was Al Hilal. That was the team that offered him that contract. It was a 3 year, $1.86 billion deal. So it was 1.6 billion. I don't know what currency it was, but for him to come here and the potential like brand exposure and stuff like that that's gonna come to the sport in this country is gonna be insane.
For sure. For sure. And I mean, we've had like European stars come to the MLS, like David Villa, Pirlo, even Kaká and stuff like that, but nobody even remotely as close to Messi or remotely as big as Messi. And I think he's gonna be cool. I think that it kind of will put MLS on the map somewhat. Like I mean, just you already saw like Inter Miami, they went from having 1 million followers on Instagram to having five in a day, just like after coming out with the decision. And so it's
Oh,
like
and he
I
hasn't
think
been
it kind of put
announced yet too. He
yeah,
hasn't been announced yet officially by the club, so it's gonna like skyrocket once that happens.
that jersey sales, all of the above, and it's like it's gonna be cool to see because I mean the MLS has always been thought of as like an afterthought, but now I mean I think a lot more people are gonna be interested in it.
That is true, and what I'm hoping from him coming here is that the league grows as he's here as well, like with the overall squad quality and better players coming in as well too. guys, guys that aren't in their 30s looking for another paycheck. It's like guys that are still hungry to play and compete at a very high level. So
Yeah, right. No, for sure. It's gonna be interesting. It's gonna be interesting. You think Firmino's coming to the MLS?
hopefully, I feel like the most realistic destination, in my opinion, would be St. Louis City, the
Yeah,
the no
I've been
expansion
hearing that
city.
too. Sources
Yeah,
sources are telling me that it's gonna happen.
because he has a connection with one of the staff members. Because when he was at Hoffenheim, if I pronounce that correctly, in the Bundesliga in Germany,
Hmm.
he had a deep relationship with the technical director who worked for Hoffenheim back then, and right now is currently on St. Louis City's staff. So I feel like with that, I think he would fit there the most.
For sure, for sure. Um, all right, let's get into it.
Sure, why not?
Let's get into it.
Quick discussion on that, man. We're Americans, man. Yo, we're excited to have Messi here,
We're
and
Americans with class, though.
we are, man. We know the sport, we know the game, and we're
Hey, and
just
we were able to have this talk today because the other co-host was missing. Let's be honest.
that is true. We need to teach Owen about the game, man, because
Nah,
we need
he
to
he
teach him.
refuses. He refuses.
Well, we're forcing him to. We're forcing him
Nah,
to.
he didn't even watch the World Cup final.
Hey, bro, we're gonna make him a fellow fan of the sport, the beautiful game, Joga Bonito, bro.
But the closest I've gotten is Rocket League, and that's about it.
That's a start, bro. That's a start because like
That's a
by
start.
then
That's a start.
we'll
That's what
go
I'm
from
saying.
Rocket League to FIFA. He knows the teams and the players, and then we'll actually like make him follow a league. So that's a start.
But here's what I'm saying though, is because Owen got us to do golf. We have to get him to do soccer. It's like a little give and get.
That is true.
That is
That's
true.
true actually. So, but with that being out the way, let's get into the main topic of today's episode, and that is the NBA Finals.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. So, Game 3 happened last night. 109-94 Denver Nuggets. They take a 2-1 series lead. Game 4 is tomorrow.
Yep.
And quick rundown with the stats. Of course, Nikola Jokic and Jamal Murray, they combined for 68 points as they are the first duo in NBA history to ever have a 30-point triple double. Murray, he had 34, 10, and 10. And Jokic, he had 32, 21, and 10 as well. And while on the Heat side, they shot 37% from the field, 31% from three. Jimmy, he had 28 points on 11 for 24 shooting. Bam, he had 22 and 17 rebounds on 7 for 21 shooting as well. So, quick recap with that. And Matt, I'm gonna give it to you for to start us off. How do you feel
You see
about
this
it?
story right here? Shout out Lunchroom Debates. You see what it says? Are
Are Jokic
Jokic
and
and
Murray
Murray
the
the
best
best
duo in the
duo in the
NBA?
league right now?
Yeah.
91% of people voted yes. I am part of that 91%. What we saw last night was special, and it just highlights and recaps what a tremendous postseason run these two have had. I mean, like, it feels like nothing can go wrong for them, and it feels like one of the biggest things that I've seen from them is that they don't have two bad games in a row, right? We saw with the Celtics duo, we saw Jalen Brown have some inconsistencies that extended for a longer period of time, or Jason Tatum having inconsistencies for a longer period of time. We saw with Devin Booker and Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant had some slow stretches during this postseason, but it's like when Jokic has had a poor game, he's come right back. When Murray has had a poor game like he did in Game 2, he came right back and had a 30-point triple double in Game 3. So it's like these two have the consistency part of it, and then they also have the ability part of it. And for me, I think they're the best duo in the league right now.
Yeah, absolutely. I feel like they're clearly the best duo. They've always been in that conversation for the past few years now when they've been healthy. But at this point, the borderline historical run they've been on, the two of them, you just can't ignore it.
For sure.
Small market team or not, man. So I just want to give a quick shout out to that. And with the game last night, what I saw, the main point, the main takeaway was their ability to break down Miami zone. Miami, they mainly ran like a 1-3, yeah, a 1-3-1 zone throughout, and with what they were able to do, of course, Miami's defense, they sent the double team to Murray once like Jokic was going to set the screen at times, and Jamal being the good passer he is, being able to kick out to the open shooter, being able to knock down shots too as well. And I just want to give a shout out to Christian
Fan
Braun,
favorite in
man,
Denver, by the way.
the X factor of last night's game. 15 points on 7 of 8 shooting. I
Eight of
think
nine,
even
eight of
nine.
nine.
Oh, 8 of 9 shooting. My mistake. Wait, 8 of 9 shooting? No.
Swear.
Yeah,
I'm pretty
15
sure I saw
points.
8 of 9.
15 points on 7 of 8 shooting, bro. Like quick math. Quick maths. Come on.
Hold on.
But
Go
as I
ahead.
was saying, his ability to defend, two-way player, shoot the ball as well, get inside, cut into the lane, which the Nuggets cutting from the perimeter to the paint, that was really effective as well. When Jokic got the ball in the high post, and he had like guys like Christian Brown and Jeff Green, slashers running into the rim, getting easy looks, breaking down the defense. That was a huge difference maker in this game.
I thought the X's and O's were one thing, but when I watched this game, it just felt like Denver wanted it more. And I know that's something cliche to say, but it's like Denver, I think we can both agree is the much more physical, or not physical, but the bigger team, right? Just Jokic is bigger than Bam. AG is bigger than, AG is bigger than Jimmy Butler. They've had Jimmy Butler for most of the series. I know they started Kevin Love recently, but even KCP is a big guard. Jamal Murray is bigger than most of the other point guard, and it's like I brought some stats, right? So like game one, the Nuggets out rebounded Miami by 2, right? So not a big difference. Like Miami's physicality and effort is kind of showing because they're making up for their size difference. Game two, they out Nuggets out rebounded Miami by 7. Last night, you want to guess how much the Nuggets out rebounded Miami by?
10.
25.
Oh,
The Nuggets had 58 rebounds and the Miami Heat had 33 rebounds. If the Nuggets come out and play this game where they're getting every loose ball, they're getting every 50-50 ball, they're gang rebounding, I really don't think that he have a chance.
no.
Like, I really think that the Heat have to win every 50-50 ball, have to go diving on the court and do all the little stuff to have the chance. Because at the end of the day, I really don't think they're as talented. But what Miami has always had throughout this playoff run is the effort and the intensity. And last night, the Nuggets matched it.
Yeah, that is true, and I'd like to go into the fact, the thing you said about the size between the two teams. The Heat, of course, they're one of the biggest issues coming into this postseason was their size, their big man depth. Bam, as much of a great defensive big he is, he's only like what 6'9", 6'10".
Yes.
Kevin Love, for his ability to play defense at his age, he's still smaller, big, 6'8". Cody Zeller,
Let's not talk about
nah, yeah, let's not.
let's not
So
state the obvious.
yeah, so as I was saying, right, their size has been an issue, but throughout their playoff run, they weren't able to. It wasn't a big deal with the majority of the series they played. Of course, in the first round, they went up against Giannis, but Giannis missed some time too. He didn't play the full series, so you could say that about that. There, the Knicks, they didn't really have a dominant big, an interior paint presence like the guy like Jokic is. Of course, Mitchell Robinson and Randall were the two main bigs. And then going to the Celtics series, Al Horford and Rob Williams, those two aren't that big of a paint presence offensively. So fast forward into this series in the finals, you're going up against Jokic, which he's a generational talent, top 5 offensive big of all time. top 5, big of all time, period. Well, at the center position, of course. And so them going up against this like ungodly figure, basically, it's just a complete other mismatch.
No, it really is, and that's kind of the thing that we're seeing is like Spo has been able to make the adjustments in every series, whether it was after game 2 of the Milwaukee Bucks series where Milwaukee was coming off, I think it was like the biggest postseason win in franchise history, and that was without Giannis. Then Miami came back and won 3 in a row, right? And then once the Knicks started looking like they had something, Spo goes to the zone and starts putting good matchups together. Once Boston thinks that they have a 3-0 comeback on the horizon, he comes out in a game 7 with a masterclass plan. And it's like, oh, well, after game 1, he started Kevin Love. He inserted Kevin Love in the starting lineup to put some more size into the unit. And then he also put Jimmy Butler on Jamal Murray to make it a 2-man game between Jimmy and Bam versus Jokic and Jamal. And then it's like in game 3, it just completely did not work. And it's like, it kind of shows how difficult it is to guard Jokic because whether they ran the zone, whether they try to put their best 2 defenders in the pick and roll, it really didn't matter. And it was damn near unstoppable. It was unstoppable.
Yeah. Hey, at this point, all the Heat got to do when guarding Jokic, all they got to do is pray. All they got to do is pray.
Well, let's get into it. If you are a Spoelstra, you can't just do that, right? I mean,
No,
that might be
of course.
that might be
it's like, yeah,
that might be your best option at the moment. But it's like, if you're Spoelstra and you're breaking down the film, what do you think are the adjustments?
bro, they tried everything though.
It has felt like they've tried a lot.
Bro,
They've tried man, they've
everything.
tried blitzing, they've tried drop coverage, they've tried the zone, of course. Like, it's like, what
Double
else can you try?
teams. Bro, it's like we're at the point now is where the coaches, they've already made the adjustments, so it's just the players' role now. You just gotta perform.
Yeah.
And what we're seeing right now is that in these first 3 games that Denver's is clearly the better team.
They are.
Yeah. I don't wanna sound bland. I don't want to sound like I'm on First Take or NBA Countdown right now, saying like basic analysis, but that's just what it is, The Nuggets,
I got a
they
bold
have
prediction. I got a
yeah.
bold prediction for game 4, though. Miami's going to come out strong. Because you can't go down 3-1 against the Nuggets. I think we can both agree to that. I think that they have to try to go back to Denver down or tied 2-2, right? I think we can both agree there. So they're going to come out strong. They're going to come out swinging. Denver's going to fight back. But you know who's going to have a game?
Who?
You know who's going to have a game? Michael Porter Jr.
That's cap.
Michael Porter Jr. is about to have a game. Trust me.
That's cap.
Trust me.
That's cap.
Michael Porter Jr. has done nothing but be a walking brick this series. But when I saw the I don't know if you were able to see, but Michael Malone came out and he basically made some comments like, we have the utmost confidence in Michael. Like, we're telling him, if you stop shooting, we're upset with you. Like, you have the ultimate green light. And if I'm a player, like, I mean, this, we've all hooped back in our day. Like, if I have a coach and he's instilling that kind of confidence, he keeps telling me to shoot even when I'm missing. And by the way, I have a team that's winning even when I'm missing. I think I like my chances to go off for a game 4.
Okay, so if I were to expect a game where MPJ shooting like comes back, he goes off offensively, it's gonna be at home. It has to be at home.
That's true. It could be at home.
That would be the more like realistic scenario.
Yeah, but didn't he have a really good game against the Suns on the road?
A good game on this.
Yeah. The game that they lost, was it? They lost.
Yeah. You mean game 3?
Game 3. He was playing very nice.
Yeah, he had 21 and 12 rebounds, shot 7 for 14 from the field, 6 of 10 from 3. That's a very good game.
That's a very good game. And I don't know, like, but I will say this is like, me and you have both been very critical of Michael Malone in the past, but I think this playoff run he has absolutely shown his ass. Like I think the fact that MPJ is struggling the way he is, and we're not even telling him like, "Oh, get off the court," it's because Michael Malone has been able to convince Michael Porter Jr. to buy in defensively. I mean, Michael Porter Jr. had a double double in Game 1 with a couple blocks, and he's been rebounding the ball very impressively. He's actually been playing really good D. I don't know, not really good D, but much more solid D than you would expect for a guy like him. And so it's kind of cool to see that. You could tell that he's instilled the confidence back into Jamal. Obviously, Jamal and Michael said that story in the press conference of the Lakers series. I thought that was a very cool moment.
Mm-hmm.
He's been the only coach to play a rookie in this playoffs, and we mentioned it at the top of the show, but Christian Brown has been nothing short of impressive this entire run. And then even
Can you
guys like
stand up? Rock
exactly
Chalk, stand up.
Rock
Yeah.
Chalk. If you know, you know. But
Big 12 certified, man. Let's go.
But that to the beginning of the season where they had the story where he called Bruce Brown and said, "We can make you like where we can basically get you paid." And Bruce Brown took that offer, and Bruce Brown will get paid this offseason. But it's like this Nuggets team, man. I said it last episode. I won't say it again. If you want to see it, go see the reel. But I really do think it could happen.
Dynasty?
I think it could. I really do. I mean, it's just like the young players are going to get better. I thought Peyton Watson looked really bright to start the season. Obviously, they took him out of the rotation. Christian Braun is a rookie. I expect him to improve. And it's like their young core, or like I said last episode, like everybody within their playing rotation is tied up. Everybody is relatively young. I think they're going to continue to improve. And as of right now, they have the best player in all of basketball. And a guy who we're running out of words to describe, whether it's unstoppable, unreal, insane, ridiculous, whatever you want to say, we're running out of words to describe Jokic.
Hey, man. Regardless if the Nuggets win the championship or not, right? We're gonna have some very uncomfortable conversations about the man, the myth, Nikola Jokic, Big Honey, Yoke, the Joker, Big Tipper. I don't even know if they call him that, but Big Tipper. That's a cool nickname. But
Big Tipper? No.
we're gonna have some convos about that man on all time wise. So y'all gotta get ready for that.
He's got to win. They got to win this year though.
That's very true. That's
Oh,
very
Big Tipper is one of his nicknames. All right, I'm on Basketball Reference. Can you guess all of his nicknames?
no wait. Yoke.
Start with the easy ones.
Okay. Joker.
Joker. There's 5.
Uh.
You have Joker and Big Tipper.
Okay.
You said
Big
one
Honey.
of them. Big Honey. You got Yoke. There's one more. I don't think you're gonna get this.
Does have something to do with like Serbia?
Think of a blue person. Blue like monster, I guess.
The Cookie Monster.
Cookie Monster. That's the last nickname. Cookie Monster.
Oh, who calls him the Cookie Monster?
Probably like Jalen Rose.
I've never seen, bro. I never heard that before in my life. Bro, that's
Monster.
so fake.
Cookie, I don't like that nickname.
Bro, who got that? Who said it? I never heard him. I never heard people say he's the.
I like
Cookie
Big
Monster.
Honey though. Big Honey's a good nickname for him.
Yeah.
Big Honey's a good nickname. White Chocolate. He's low key. He's low key like. If you want to go like deluxe or like extra large white chocolate.
No, bro. That's Jason Williams' nickname.
That is Jason Williams' nickname. Respect greatness, as they say.
Yeah.
But last thing on this series. I got an alert earlier today about Tyler Hero. He's not expected to be back for Game 4. Hypothetically, is there a situation where you play Tyler Hero? Any situation where you play Tyler Hero in this series? Assuming he can be back by Game 5, is there a scenario where you're playing him?
Yes.
Explain.
Yes. Well, he's their second best shot creator, and what we've seen so far in this postseason, when the shot's not falling, of course, when they need another guy to get a bucket alongside Jimmy, they struggle at times to get shots up, and we saw that during the Celtics series, especially when the other role players, their shots not falling, guys like Vincent, Strus, Caleb Martin. He had a great series versus the Celtics, but now he hasn't been up to par. We've seen before that there, when the role players crash down to earth, it makes for really bad offense. And with Hero, of course, his defensive issues is a it's always been a common thing. But what if you just add another scorer, another consistent scorer alongside Jimmy that can get in, that can take his spots on any part of the court, can hit the tough shots, 3 level score, can create on his own. Like that's always a positive to me.
It's hard for me. It is a positive, but especially when the offense was looking how it did last night, because I felt the 2-man game between Jimmy and Ben was just so predictable. I thought Kyle Lowry played a little too many minutes and Gabe Vincent played a little too little minutes last night.
Yeah, because well, of course he was in foul trouble.
Yeah, but my thing is this: is like if Miami wins Game 4 and they're going tied to Denver, I don't know if I'm inserting him for a Game 5. I think a Tyler Hero, like if he's ready and back for Game 5, I think I'm doing it if I need like a spark, if I need something to get me going. But if it's 2-2 and we're hanging in Denver for Game 5 and we might win, we might lose. I don't know if I'm giving a player who's missed the entire postseason PT for the first time when my guys are rolling, my guys have confidence, my role players have confidence, and they've been fighting this whole time. Because when you put one guy back for his first game, right when he comes back from injury, and you cut somebody else out of the rotation, that starts to mess with people's minds and confidence. And it's like if you're down 3-1, if Nuggets win Game 4 and they go back 3-1, and Nuggets start winning the first quarter, and you need a spark, then yeah, for sure put Tyler Hero in, because he's that type of guy, like you said, where he can create it for himself. He's an excellent shot creator, probably the best 3-point shooter on the Heat. Maybe not. They have Duncan Robinson and Max Strus. But like as far as putting it on the ground to create his own shot and then either stepping back or doing something off the rock, I would say he's their best 3-point shooter. And they need that if they're down big or if they need a spark. But if it's a close game and the series is tied, I don't know if I'm throwing him right back into the fire.
That's fair. And I also want to say something real quick about this series so far. Jimmy Butler, we're on to you. We're watching you right now, man. Come on.
Did you see what I said in the group chat last night?
What?
Let me pull it up. But Jimmy Butler has quietly been struggling, and it has not got a lot of media attention.
That is true.
I agree. But basically what I said was that since that first series against the Bucks, outside of Game 2 of the Eastern Conference Finals when Grant Williams poked the bear, we have not seen a Hemi moment.
Can you put that blame on one of your players on your favorite team? That ankle injury?
No, because if you say blame, then that's
no. Well, okay, that's poor choice of words.
Yeah,
that's a poor choice of words.
I
love Josh Hart.
Nah, because I understand that the ankle is a problem, no doubt, but it's like I think if Jimmy has said it multiple times that it's not an excuse. He said that the bum ankle or not, I still gotta do my job. I think the fact that we have seen him since that incident where take over like he did in Game 2 in the Eastern Conference Finals, I think we've seen those Hemi moments, although they have been rare. So I don't think we can put the blame on Josh Hart. I know that the blame is a bad word.
No, bro. I was joking, man. I'm not putting that blame.
But he's got to be better, I think. Like last night, he shot well and he had a good game from the mid range. But it was like, if the Heat want to win this series, he's gonna have to have those Hemi moments.
Damn, you sound like Steven. Nah,
bro. Is it?
I was gonna say it again. I was gonna, bro. No, okay. I was gonna say it again. My fault.
No.
My fault.
I understand what you're saying, but
it was too
how else can they win the series? How else can they win this series? Because
That is
we
true.
we've seen in like game two, right? Game two, um, Jimmy had like a calm game. He had a solid game, right? Ish. But the defense was much better that game. You had Duncan Robinson stepping up with the giant fourth quarter in game two. You had Max Strus who came out guns blazing in the first quarter, right? All that, and it took a lot of controversial calls just to beat the Nuggets by three. You had your role player stepping up, great defense, controversial calls that benefited you, whether it was Jimmy stepping out of bounds and you hitting a three, multiple multiple Miami Heat 3-point shooters getting fouled, Bam Adebayo missed goaltending, like all that, and you only win by three. Like all that had to go right just to win by such a minuscule amount. I think that you have to have those moments from Jimmy to win this series.
Okay, but weren't they up by over 10? Well, like super late in the fourth. Come on, bro. You can't leave that out as well.
It was not 10, it was like 8 or 7.
No, no, it was over 10. I don't remember the exact number, but it was over 10 points. It
Swear.
was multiple possessions, bro. It took Jamal going crazy
It did take
for them to come back.
Jamal had the game. But
So
yeah,
I wouldn't say game two was as simple as the Heat. They were completely on fire, and it took like some controversial calls for them to win that game. No, I think they won it fair and square.
well, it took. I would say it took that, but also took Jokic only having 4 assists. I don't see Jokic having 4 assists again this series.
Okay, kudos to the Heat
No, for
defense
sure,
as
for
well
sure,
for
for
scheming
sure,
against Jokic.
100%, 100%. That was a well executed game plan, and we saw. But what we also said is that Jokic is one of the most high IQ players in the league. He's one of the most skilled and poised players. So what you did in game two, we saw they tried to throw the same stuff at him in game three, and he figured it out at a 30-20-10 triple double. Like, I'm not expecting Jokic to have another, although he put up 40 points in that game, I'm not expecting him to have less than 5 assists again.
All right,
Is all I'm saying. Is all I'm saying.
fair enough. Fair enough.
All right. Let's get into the recent news then.
Yeah. Excuse me. Let's dive
Start
into
us
some
off. Start
NBA
us off
news.
with what you were doing last night late in your bedroom.
No comment. That never happened. But yeah, let's start with the big news, man. Zion Williamson and his issues. So basically, of course, Zion Williamson, he made an announcement earlier this week saying that he has a new child. Yeah, a new child's on the way with his new girlfriend, right? And initially people were like, "Oh, okay, good for him." Hey,
Congratulations. Congratulations.
congrats on the kid. But when you go deeper into the situation, it's kind of messy. And so his girlfriend, like I said, she is 29, has an OnlyFans, and has a kid with another man.
I didn't even know this. This is kind of news to me.
So that's what I looked up. That's what's going around on social media right now. And so, it, yeah. So Zion, he's been getting a lot of flack, a lot of heat for this, and also Mariah Mills.
There you go. That's the real news.
Mariah Mills. If you do not know who she is the adult film actress. She went on Twitter, and she basically exposed Zion, saying that, oh yeah, they're basically like in a relationship as recently as last week. So during all of this baby stuff, um she said that she hoped get him back to shape and regain his confidence from his injury issues. Other stuff that I can't say in detail on this platform because this video will get taken down. But
There was some
stuff like
filthy
that.
stuff.
Yeah, some racy details.
All I gotta say is
It's,
this: we were at a game in March where we were this close to Zion. If I had been familiar with his game, I would have. stuck out my hand for a handshake.
You would have shook his hand.
No, I'm playing. I'm playing.
What?
Let's not act like I didn't try to get like an autograph or anything from him. Like we were all trying to get Zion's attention. Um,
Yeah, man.
all I gotta say is RJ, man. RJ's the best from the drafts class. He's the only one from the top three that ain't got any controversial stuff going on.
Yeah, but he's
What's that
not.
greatness?
No, but he's not. He's not that good as a Zion or John Morant. So I
That's
wouldn't
facts.
say
That's
that.
facts. That's facts.
I would not
Um,
say that.
I think I don't know. This is always like I don't know for you, but like since we're like new journalists, it's kind of hard for me to figure out like stuff I really care about and stuff I don't. And it's like hard to decipher between on court and off court stuff to like that really matters. Like what do you make of this?
What do I make of this?
Yeah.
Um, yeah, Zion. Yeah, you kind of freaky, man.
Oh, hella, hella.
No disrespect at all, but yo, come on, man. Like you
Bro,
can't,
I think Zion could do a lot better. I'm gonna just say that.
bro.
I know that I don't want to be like rude or controversial, but come on, Z.
No, this is my opinion. Like I don't know Zion's character. Outside the cameras, he seems like a very chill dude, very nice guy. But still, man, like, bro, you can't as a professional athlete, you can't get caught up in these things, man. You just can't. Bro, she's 29 going on 30. This is the same thing that happened to PJ Washington last year.
Yeah,
The
hella,
same
hella.
thing. Bro, we just went through a situation like this, man. Like, bro, these, I don't want to be rude, but these women, when they look at an athlete, they see him as a meal ticket. They see him as an easy way to free money for the next 18 years. And if you give him that chance, that opportunity, then you basically slipped up. You didn't
Yeah,
do your part.
yeah.
So hopefully this goes out well. Hopefully, his girlfriend actually loves him for who he is as a human being and an overall person. And I'm just wishing the best. I'm wishing the best for both of them, for all parties involved, because the person that is affected the most
It's the
out of
kid.
this whole situation, yeah, it's the kid, of course. You don't want this type
100%.
of stuff. Yeah, you don't want this type of mess to happen with the newborn, with the kid growing up, man. This type of drama going around because
For sure.
all these news sources, all these media outlets, they're gonna talk about this stuff all the time, and we've seen this before with Melo's kid and his relationship with his wife and other kids as well throughout the sports and overall entertainment industry. Like stuff like this, it's not good for anybody involved. And the person who gets hurt the most by these type of situations is the kid. So
No, I think that's well said. I think you said it better than I could, and I'm happy that I passed it on to you before I said some stupid shit. Um,
I know you're gonna say something stupid.
but I do gotta say some stupid shit though, because that is who I am. But
God damn.
what was her name? Mariah
Oh,
Mills, right?
yeah.
I don't know if you read all of her tweet thread or all of like her tweet rants that she said, but this is the one thing that I really did not like. Is like she was like, oh, your girlfriend, you were complaining to me about how she's toxic, but like you were telling me how good I am for you, and then it's like you're gonna call the other girl toxic, and then you're gonna tweet 30 tweets about the most vile stuff that the two of you have done behind closed doors, just put it out in the public. It's like, who are you trying to like convince that you're the good person here? Like, is that not the most like toxic thing you could do?
Um. It, also on her Twitter, she was calling her Zion's girlfriend a quote unquote a whore,
Yeah,
and stuff like that. Which for one,
is
bro,
uncalled for.
it is uncalled for, and two, there is videos all across the internet of you having
Yeah,
sexual intercourse on camera that
that's
everybody can
kind of
see.
crazy, bro. Talk about like the
That's wild.
irony.
Yeah, that's wild to think about.
Talk about the irony.
Maybe maybe you should look at yourself in the mirror about that. And I'm not defending anybody on this whole thing,
No,
like
me neither.
at all. I don't have a side. I'm not picking a side, you know. So
No, I'm not picking a side either, but I just think that like I think for one, all parties involved, I think that you recapped about how one, the publicity of this, like I think we can all agree whether it's my life, your life, anybody else's life. If it's a public matter like this, it's probably best to be talked about behind closed doors. I think that's just best business. Um, but two, it's like the kid will be hurt, and three, I think all parties kind of just need to take a step back and reevaluate what's going on. That's just me.
very true.
Take a step back, take a deep breath, say, is this really the best thing for me? I mean, it's probably the best thing for her career because let's be honest, she's probably doing numbers right now on the internet.
Mariah Mills. Oh, she
Probably,
was trending on Twitter the whole day, bro.
probably
The
exactly.
whole
She's
day.
Zion is probably calling it. I don't know. I saw a lot of memes about like, what's that one meme on the Charlemagne podcast, The Breakfast Club, where they're like Cap and everybody just starts dying. I've been seeing that meme
Oh yeah, we
nonstop.
have the Migos. When the
The
Migos had
Migos,
the
yeah, yeah,
interview.
yeah. Thank you.
Yeah.
I've been seeing like Zion right now, and then it's like the semicolon, and then it's just that video playing like over and over. Like I keep seeing that. I hope that's what it is. I really do, and that's for the kids' sake. Um, and then if that is true, if it is Cap, that's kind of a bad thing to make up. That's a bad thing to make up.
Yes. Yeah, because if she was going on Twitter saying all of this stuff, which she did post text of the two having conversations on Snapchat. We don't know if it's 100% real or not. It could be a fake. You know, we don't know the whole like extent of the situation. But if she faked the whole, all these claims just for clout and fame, that is a really bad look on her behalf. That
Yeah,
is a very bad look on her behalf.
no doubt. I 100% agree. But I
Yeah.
think we covered that well. Let's move on to the second overall pick from that. I think it was the 2019 draft. John
Woo.
Morant and his camp have come out and said that the most recent gun that was spotted in the IG Live was actually a toy gun. Dibo, are you buying this or no?
Of course, I cannot say if it was 100% real or not. We weren't there at the situation. The only two people that do know if it was fake or not was, of course, Ja in the video holding it, and his friend recording it, and other people involved in this camp. And my thoughts on it, I think I'm kind of leaning towards it being Cap, you know,
Mm-hmm.
it being them saying that, of course, they're trying to soften the blow of this whole situation, try to
Yeah,
make Ja less of the, less of the bad guy. That's what I'm getting from this.
no, for sure. I thought Adam Silver had a really good bar about this. He's like the very issue. I'll read it right here. I have it right here. It says the very issue for Josh certainly was in the first incident he was treating a gun as a toy, and it's like he was treating the gun as a toy. He went on his IG live when he was in the club. I think it was Shotgun Willie's, um,
Mm-hmm.
and this was actually when he was in Colorado, and he showed the gun, and obviously that was a whole conundrum. That was a whole incident. And he got the 8 games, and then now it's like I, even if it is a toy gun, why are you doing it? Is my question. Like, toy gun or not, I mean, like Debo said, like there's really only two people that know about it, and I would just be like every other person in the media right now if I was to guess whether whether it was a toy gun or not. But the one thing that I can definitively say is why the hell are you doing that? Like, was the uproar and the commotion the first time not enough for you to realize like maybe I should not do this?
Yeah, especially with that whole factor. Of course, that whole situation. He apologized on national television on ESPN. He had to sit down with Jalen Rose, of course. He sat down with Adam Silver, the commissioner, about the whole thing. He went to rehab, that facility down in Florida. He basically said, I messed up from that situation down in Denver. I take full responsibility for my actions, and I'll never do this again.
And you know
And
what? And you know what he was doing that entire time?
what?
some shit like this
Yeah,
behind the back.
yeah. I mean, like he basically gave Adam Silver his word that he wasn't gonna get involved in stuff like this again. As at with the player of his status, the player of his marketability, and it didn't even take the offseason for him for this type of stuff to come out.
Yeah, and I think that that's a really good point you made because we saw during the draft lottery, or like right before they had the draft lottery, they had Adam Silver on, and they were kind of asking him, "What do you think you're going to do about this John Moran situation?" And he was basically saying, like the first time it happened, we had a closed door meeting. It was just me and him, and he basically gave me his word. He promised me, and we felt like when we walked out, like real progress was made. And then for John Moran to turn around and do this, what, 2, 3 months after all of that, it's like it shows irresponsibility, it shows immaturity, and it shows that he didn't take the initial punishment serious. So that begs the question, Debo, what do you think his punishment should be?
They got to give him the 40.
I think so. I was about to say, great minds think alike.
They got to give him the 40. Um, man, bro, for you to get involved with this stuff a second time, I don't know, man. If I were to get into Adam Silver's mind, I think with what he's thinking right now with this situation is that like we need to make a stand, we need to make a statement, and we need to show him that you know that you can't be doing stuff like this at as one of the NBA's most talented players, as one of the NBA's most popular players. And with Ja, he has all of these sponsorships, all of these endorsement deals. He's one of the most talked about players in the league. And from a business standpoint and from a policy standpoint, for him to be doing this stuff off the court, and we haven't talked about the thing that happened in Indiana, outside the
Yeah,
Pacer Stadium with this crew pointing the lasers at outside the team bus, and other stuff too. Of course, the mall incident,
yeah.
the basketball court incident, and so the league, they have a whole folder of you doing all these things, and so you're not gonna tell me that they're not gonna lay the hammer down on them.
No,
Like,
I think that that's actually really well thought out because I think a lot of people, like even JJ Redick said, it's not illegal to own a gun. Like I understand that people are upset and all that, but it's also your second right to own a gun, your Second Amendment to own a gun, which by the way is true. I understand NBA players who own guns because at the end of the day they probably need more security than any of us. But
true.
when you're in the NBA and when you're a star like John Moran, you got different rules that apply to you. And when you're supposed to be the face of the league, like you said, you had a shoe deal. You're supposed to be for the next generation, targeted for the kids. This high flyer point guard from a small school, but he's the most electric guard in the league. And you're doing stuff like this. I do think the league has to take disciplinary action, especially when, like you mentioned, he has a history of this kind of stuff. And I don't want to put like I don't want to make it seem like Ja's like a repeat offender or Ja deserves jail time or something like that. But
No, I'm
what
not
we are
saying that
saying,
at all either.
yeah, exactly. But what we are saying is that he has a serious line of stuff like whether, like Debo said, um, whether it is the mall incident, the basketball court incident, the Indiana Pacers with the lasers, like you said, the first IG live, the second IG live. Like at some point, the league has to put their foot down, take a disciplinary action, and say, hey, look, like we might have to over suspend you for what you did, but it's so that you learn and so you can play the rest of your career with no more commotion, no more uproar, no more incidents. And like, it's like if we over suspend you this time, we feel we won't ever have to suspend you again. And that's for me why I think he's gonna get like 40 games.
Yeah, man. And this is from a person, we both love Ja.
Yeah,
We love to see him play. man, high flyer, entertaining talent, but you know, it, it just is what it is. And hey, if they lay the hammer down on him, then it happens. If he misses the full season, that's unfortunate for him. And the whole entire Grizzlies organization too, with the team, with their situation going into next year, as well, having a marquee player, their franchise player, go out for a long period of time. But hey, man, that's what happens when you get in trouble with like forces like this. You have to face serious consequences.
This is the worst part for me though. Is like, and this is the part like I hate to play devil's advocate, but this is the part that I have to say is like I don't know if you remember, but uh after John Morant got reinstated by the NBA and the NBA, he had his 8 game suspension and then he came back. And like maybe this was like two or 3 days before he was set to play his first game. I was like, I came on here, I came on Lunchroom Debates, and I was basically like, I think this is a beautiful thing. Like I think this is a blessing in disguise for the Memphis Grizzlies. I think that for John Morant to have all of this commotion and only get 8 games, and I think that this uproar will allow him to kind of calm down, let him take a step back, take a deep breath, like we said should happen in the other situation, and then he'll be able to be a better person from now on. And then we saw like 3 months later, he did the second IG Live incident. And it's like, what if 40 games does not work? Because we all thought 8 games, sitting down with the commissioner, sitting down with Jalen Rose, taking these meetings, getting help from the Memphis Grizzlies staff, like we all thought that was going to work. At least I did. And it only lasted for like 3 months.
So what if the 40 games don't work?
What if the 40 games don't work?
Then he'll be out the league. Simple.
Gilbert Arenas type shit?
Yeah. Of course he's gonna get like these like small short term contracts because of like his talent level, of course. But um, when you're a repeat offender, it's like you can't. Eventually, teams and coaches, they're not going to deal with your BS anymore. And when you look at another sport, another league, in the NFL, you saw the exact same thing with Antonio Brown.
Yep, 100%.
He got a lot of chances. He got a lot of second chances. He got a lot of opportunities to reinstate himself back to the league. With the Bucks and the Patriots, of course, but he kept doing dumb stuff over and over and over and over, and then it eventually came to where he was cut, and then he's not playing the league anymore. He's just doing his own thing now. So
it's not even that he's playing not even playing in the league anymore. Like when he basically started stripping on the Jets field in his last game with the Buccaneers, like one, I still think he was like top 20. You could argue even higher at that point. Like just talent wise, Antonio Brown was insane. And even to add to that, like since that's happened, he's posted pictures of him in a Ravens uniform and he's posted pictures of him in a Chiefs uniform. Like, oh my God, who's gonna want me? And none of the 32 teams in the league want him. And it's like
they
you can
don't
be
want
as
to put up with
talented
this
as
shit
Antonio
anymore.
Brown. You can be a top 5 wide receiver of all time. Like if you can't act or fit the part, because at the end of the day, these are professionals. You have to be a professional on and off the field, on and off the court. And if you can't do that, then the organizations just won't mess with you.
Yeah, man.
Same thing with Colin Kaepernick. Well, Colin Kaepernick was different.
Well, hey, come on.
Ray Rice. Those were different though. Those were like actual, not Colin Kaepernick, but Ray Rice was like an actual like violent crime. Like Ja hasn't committed like a violent crime.
Quick question.
Yeah.
Did you agree with Colin Kaepernick's stance to not stand for the flag? Did you agree with
Did I agree with it? I mean,
answer the question. Oh my God!
No. Here's my thing. I stand for the flag, but it's your right to. You don't have to stand for a flag. I don't think he should. I don't think Colin Kaepernick should have had a job 100%. I think he has an absolute right to kneel for the flag. I also didn't care if you kneeled or stood for the flag. I'm saying what I do. Is that what I thought? That's what you meant by agree.
Yeah, but like, did you have a problem with him?
Oh,
him not
no.
Standing?
Fuck no. I actually thought what he was doing it was for a good thing. I thought that America was immature, that we couldn't understand it. I thought what he was doing was he was saying, "Hey, look, this is a beautiful country, but there's a lot of police brutality that goes on. There's a violent police crime that occurs, and it's like I love this country, but I got to take a knee until I can start to see some reform, until I can start to see some change. For me, I completely understand that. If he wants to take a knee, I have zero problem with that. But for me, I just always stand for the flag.
All right. We got it. We got it. We got it. We
That's
got it.
what I thought you. I thought when you said like agree, I was like that. Like I stand. I don't kneel
All
personally.
right. All right. All right. All right. I was just trying to clear the air because someone could have took that clip of you saying that about Kaepernick,
Facts.
and that could have like rearranged
Facts.
the
They
whole
were gonna say
situation.
lunchroom debates is about to break up.
Nah, I guess so. Kind of like Skip and Shannon, boy. Hey,
Oh,
well,
how topical. How topical.
brother, was that too soon? Was that joke too soon or no?
No, I thought it was well timed.
Okay, bad. But yeah, I was looking out for you, so that's why I was answering the question. That's why
No,
I
no,
asked the question.
we can move on, but yeah, it depends. I think I misinterpreted your question. I thought when you said agree, I thought you meant like, do you do it? Not if you agree with the action itself.
Okay, okay, all right.
But yes, I
Yeah,
agree. I agree with the
right,
action itself.
right. Yeah. Final thing on the whole situation on Ja and Zion. Hey, man, South Carolina. I'm feeling bad for y'all. This is a very bad look for the whole state. Very, very bad look. I'm sorry, but
Shout out to
oh
anybody listening
man.
in South Carolina.
Hey, Buns and Guns, the new 30 for 30 ESPN documentary coming out soon, man. That's all I'm gonna say.
Like they
Buns
got
and
they got to
Guns.
bring that series back.
Buns and Guns. I'm weak, man.
All right, what's next on our slate?
All right, let's talk about some trade rumors, some offseason moves.
Yeah,
And what better not to start this off with CP3,
like
Mr. Chris Paul. And so involving Chris Paul right now is the Suns are discussing his future with the franchise. And so from Shams, the source, Phoenix is exploring multiple options, such as like trading, re-signing him to a cheaper deal, stretching out his contract, stuff like that. During this whole ordeal, of course, CP3's current contract, he still has 2 years on his 4-year, $120 million deal, which is 30 million a year. And so that's basically the whole situation on that. And Matt, I'm gonna give it to you to start us off. How do you feel about it?
my point guard. My point guard. I'm glad I guess that's. I have down here three destinations that I think Chris Paul will go. One, I think it's the most likely. I think he's gonna stay in Phoenix. I really do. I know you don't listen to it, but I listen to the Zach Lowe podcast, um, the Low Post as it's referred to. Um, and Brian Windhorst went on like the day before, yes. So he went on Tuesday. Chris Paul was waived yesterday, Wednesday. And Brian was basically saying, look, like I think Chris Paul might get waived, and they might bring him back. Basically, just want to help the salary cap because Chris Paul's contract was kind of astronomical for his production. Being my favorite point guard, I can even admit that. Um, but two, it does feel like they also kind of need a point guard. We're gonna talk about another guy today in trade rumors who kind of has been linked to the Phoenix Suns. I don't think he's gonna go there, so I really do think that he'll stay in Phoenix. But my number two option for Christopher Emmanuel Paul is the Los Angeles Clippers. A little reunion for him. Um, Obviously, one consistency in the Paul George and Kawhi Leonard era in LA has been that they've never had a solid point guard, whether it was Pat Bev, whether it was a washed kind of Reggie Jackson. Didn't they have Rondo for a year?
They did have Rondo.
They had Rondo. That's a very watched Rondo for a year. They've never really had a point guard who could kind of just facilitate, get the offense into their sets, and then kind of just get the ball to Paul George and Kawhi and good looks. And instead, what they've been really relying on for the most part was Paul George playing that point forward role. And so I think if Chris Paul could go back into a locker room in a culture where he's familiar with, obviously he kind of didn't live up to the hopes of winning a championship the last time he was in LA, but I think that this would be a good fit for him considering that the Clippers really need a point guard desperately. I do like what Russell Westbrook did. I think it would be funny to see Chris Paul and Russell Westbrook in the locker room together. I think that that's something that all NBA fans should see just because of the memes. Um,
Mm.
so that's my number two. My number three has a contingency on it. I think you could guess the contingency, but it's the Philadelphia 76ers. You want to guess the contingency?
Oh, oh, if James Harden leaves.
If James Harden leaves, I think he could go to the Sixers.
Hmm.
That's
Damn.
my
So,
those
so
are my
no
three.
so no Lakers. So no
No
Lakers.
Lakers. I understand the banana boat. I understand that stuff. I just don't like the fit. I just really don't like the fit in LA.
Uh,
I think I'd rather bring back D'Angelo Russell than bring in CP3. Honestly, I think one, you got to think about the games played with LeBron. He's going to be 38, 39. Obviously, Anthony Davis struggles with his injuries. And then what? Now you're going to bring in Chris Paul, who's good for 40, 50 games a year, if that now. So I think that the Lakers kind of should, if anything, stick with this younger version of D'Angelo Russell because while D'Angelo Russell might uh, uh, not play well in the playoffs, at least he'll get you to the playoffs through the regular season. That's me.
that's
What
fair.
about you? Do you like the Lakers fit?
Well, hey, for the Lakers, that's one of the top, spots right now for him to go to, of course, like him and LeBron, obviously. But me, I don't think it would be that great of a fit.
Yeah.
Of course, having two late 30-year-old players in your starting lineup for an 82 game season, also with the second best player on the team being injury prone, like a guy like Anthony Davis, who was also getting up there in his 30s. That's not that good. That's not a good look at all. So I wouldn't want him to go to the Lakers.
No, me neither. I do think he'll resign with the Suns, but I like the fit with the other team in LA more than the Lakers. I really do. I think the other team in LA, they're I don't want to say like I do like their fit more for Chris Paul than I do for the Suns. Because with the Suns, I feel like the Suns are still relying on Chris Paul to be this starter. I think they're still asking Chris Paul to be like a 15 and 10 guy if they really want to compete.
Mm-hmm.
And they kind of need that because their only other point guard on the roster is Campaign, who might not even be on the roster. I think he might be a free agent. Um, But it's like for the Clippers, you have so many different pieces. Whether they bring back Russell Westbrook, whether Paul George can run the point forward, you have Eric Gordon who gets some point guard minutes. Terrence Mann gets some point guard minutes. Bones Highland gets some point guard minutes. It's like Chris Paul really does not have to play that many games. He can kind of load manage. He can kind of coast through the regular season, which is something he's never been able to do. And then maybe we can finally see a healthy Chris Paul in the playoffs for once. So for me, I mean, I like the Clippers fit. I like the Clippers fit.
Yeah, I feel like the Clippers would be a great fit too, of course. Getting that true point guard, that playmaker, which the Clippers they desperately needed for years now, ever
Yeah.
since both PG and Kawhi. Um, yeah, they both arrived there. Of course, Russ he did a commendable job. Bring with him bringing Russ in after the buyout market this year, especially in the playoffs. He played great in the playoffs as well. Got to give him
Who's
credit
their
for
best
that.
player?
He was their best player, but yeah, I feel like with this situation, I think Phoenix would realistically be the best option.
I
So
wish Kawhi didn't go out this year. I think that they actually had a chance to win in that first round if Kawhi did not go
no,
out.
for sure they did for sure. If
That
they're
game one, they
completely
stunned
healthy,
the Suns.
yeah, if they're completely healthy, I feel like they could have
But
you know,
then again, that's like the trouble. Do you really want Chris Paul on a team with Kawhi and Paul George, a team that has already struggled with injuries for the last 4 years, where their two stars cannot stay healthy to save their lives? And then what? Now you want to bring in Chris Paul? Like,
yeah,
like
yeah.
how funny?
Yeah, man, that's the tricky part with that thing too. Their availability. of course, they've all struggled with that for years now, basically. So I
Yeah.
don't know how that part of that whole experiment would go. So
Shout out vegan Chris Paul though. Chris Paul for real, like that was my favorite point guard. I can say this, but like that first year when he was in Phoenix, when he came out with his vegan diet, like we were all like, damn, like he finally found the answer. He finally found the perfect thing that fits his body, and it was just kind of fugazi.
damn, you making fun of his diet?
No, I'm saying that it was
Oh,
like I'm not saying the diet was bad. I don't care if you're vegan or not. But I'm saying we thought it was the answer to his injury problems, and it did not. It was not.
yeah, that's true. I was playing with that, by the way, but
All right,
shoot. Next player. Let's talk about Kyrie. Um, Kyrie Irving, real quick, man.
what's he in the news for this time?
Shoot. Okay, so according to Shams, apparently he wants to recruit his old teammate LeBron James to Dallas.
Smoke. It's smoke. It's smoke behind the screen. There's no way Dallas has the assets to get LeBron.
Yeah,
There's no
and
way. Who's the second most, or who's the best player that the Dallas Mavericks could trade for LeBron? Josh Green, because Christian Wood is even giving Christian Wood to the Lakers.
I think he's on an expiring deal too, Christian Wood.
No, I think he's a free agent this season. Like he's gonna be a free agent this offseason.
Yeah, so that wouldn't
So
work.
it's like you have like I understand that Josh Green is a promising young prospect. I mean, he's very liked on this channel between us two, but it's like what else? Like I'm not trading LeBron for Josh Green, Tim Hardaway, and some picks.
What, Jaden Hardy?
Like exactly. Like what I really think it is, and I think it's closer to what Danny said. Is I think it's kind of either putting Rob Pelinka under some pressure to offer Kyrie, especially after LeBron made his comments about retiring. Um, or I think it's just like him kind of saying he's committed to Dallas. But either way, I think LeBron is staying in LA, and I think that's that.
Yeah, and you know, if you're a front office, right, you wouldn't really give Kyrie this much power to be a recruiter, for like to recruit players in. And coming from a guy that does like Kyrie, um, I don't think with all the drama and all of the relationships he's been with, the broken relationships he's been with, whether it was the Nets, of course, the Celtics. I don't think they've given that much power to do that, to play that role. So, yeah, like you said, Matt, it is just a bunch of smoke. It's a bunch of early offseason smoke just to get prepared for the actual main thing. So,
I am actually eager for this offseason though. I think we're gonna have a big move this offseason.
oh, bro, we have to, bro, especially with the new CBA.
Facts. You think it's Joel Embiid to the Knicks?
Hell no.
Hey, all I'm saying is if James Harden leaves, there's a chance. Isn't
Oh yeah,
it?
yeah, yeah. I mean, no,
If James
actually,
Harden leaves,
no,
there will be an offer. I don't know about a chance. That might have been the stretch.
no.
There will
Yeah,
be an
yeah.
offer from the
People,
Knicks.
yeah. There will be teams that will like look at his availability, of course, in the trade market, but I don't think that actually happened.
But hold on. While we're on the topic of off seasons, I think that I mean we could go down each team, and I bet like at least 20 teams we could see a big move being made. Milwaukee, let's just start in the East, right? Milwaukee, disappointing first round exit. Chris Middleton looks a bit older. Brooke Lopez is a free agent. I could see them moving on, right? Could you? I could see a move being made,
True. Yeah.
right? Boston with Jalen Brown. We'll see what happens there.
Most definitely. Most
I
definitely.
don't think he'll get moved, but there something could. Um,
Hmm.
Philadelphia with Joel Embiid. We'll see what happens with James Harden this offseason, whether he resigns or whether he goes back to Houston. Cleveland might look to get a three, to get a small forward, because that's like the biggest problem in their starting lineup. New York is obviously always looking for a star. Brooklyn, Damian Lillard said he might be interested. Um, Atlanta, they said that They have the green light for anybody on the roster to move. Miami, I think Miami needs to make a big move if they're still trying to win. I don't think that this team can win a championship. They're in the
They're in the
championship.
championship right
They're in the
now.
championship right now, but I don't think they can win one.
No,
Those are
like
two different things.
long term, that is true. Long term, yeah, no.
So I mean, there might be a move there. There might be a move there. Also, Dame said he was interested in Miami. Toronto. I mean, Toronto, we've been saying they could blow it up for 3 years now. Chicago, we've been saying they could blow it up for 2 years now.
Wait, to Toronto for Dame?
No, no.
So my fault. Bro, my fault.
You're good. Miami for Dame. Dame said he was interested in Miami.
Yeah.
But
okay.
Toronto and Chicago, we've been saying that these teams one should blow it up and two could blow it up in the last like couple years. And those are like the 10 playing teams. Then if we go to the West, I think the Nuggets won't make a big move. I think that's fair to say, right?
No, they're gonna run it back.
Yeah. Memphis. Do we see Memphis making a big move?
I really don't see it.
Yeah, I just don't know what they could do.
Yeah. So
Sacramento, I don't really think there's a big move to be made.
mm-mm.
Phoenix, they kind of made a big move already by waiving Chris Paul, but we'll see what they do with DeAndre Ayton and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
The Clippers, obviously, whether they decide to run it back or whether they decide to blow it up. Golden State, whether they decide to blow it up and start with this young core or run it back with this older core. LA is always going to try to make a move. Minnesota might trade Cat this offseason, right? That's obviously been in rumors. OKC might cash in on all their picks finally. New Orleans with the Zion stuff, and I don't think New Orleans has a big move coming towards them though. And then Dallas and Portland. Like, there's a ton of teams that can make moves this offseason.
Hey man, just have to see, but hey, this offseason, I'm really curious, and I just can't wait to see what these teams do because there's a ton of restructuring that a lot of teams can possibly make this offseason.
I agree. I think a lot of it has to do with the parity in the league right now. I mean, we're seeing the Miami Heat, who was an 8 seed, who made it in on the last day of the play-in when they were down, even though that they were down by 3 or with 3 minutes left against the Chicago Bulls, like, win or go home. Now they're in the NBA Finals. I think there's so much parity that every team is buying and every team is selling and every team is willing to spend way more than they should and every team is willing to get assets way more than they should. So it's like there's so much parity in the league. And I personally, I think it's because of the play-in. I'm a big fan of the play-in. But I also think it has to do with the talent in the league itself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Should we move on to the next player?
Yeah.
Yeah, let's do it. Damian Lillard. And so the recent news that's been going around Dame is that if Portland were to trade away Dame, according to Chris Haynes, they would follow with his desired location to any Eastern Conference team he desires. So that's the whole scenario that's going on right now. Of course, they've reportedly stated that they're open to trading the 3rd overall pick. So we don't know what direction they will take this offseason. But, man, I'm going to give it to you. What do you think?
That Dame will be a Portland Trailblazer next year.
God, bro, it's so boring, man. That's the boring
It's boring,
answer.
but bruh, it's just like history repeats itself.
Oh, we've done the same thing for years, man. Why can't I just pull the trigger?
That's what I'm saying.
Come on.
And this is the funny thing is like we've talked about it before of whether Dame should go or not. And I've always been like, nah, Dame should stay. Like, I think this is the perfect time for Dame to go. I really do. You have 2 young guards and Anthony Simons and Shaedon Sharpe who could take over as the backcourt. You have the 3rd overall pick, so you could either get Scoot or Brandon Miller. Like, plus whatever assets you get for Dame. Like, if you're Portland, this is the perfect chance to start a rebuild. Plus, you have Trent and Warford, whatever he could be, Nas Little. But it's like Dame, is also just never gonna leave. I feel like. I
Oh
really just
man,
feel like Dame does the same thing every offseason where he kind of gets like he comes out with, oh, I don't want to leave, but here's a hypothetical list of the teams I'm interested in. And last year, wasn't it like Philadelphia was on the list? Wasn't
they were
Philadelphia?
on the list. They
Yeah,
were on the list. Yeah.
yeah. And it's like he does this every year, and then it's like he does that just to stay on the team and be loyal to the soil. So
Man,
I
bro,
I,
man.
I think he's staying
Yeah. Oh yeah. He is staying, in my opinion, and they're gonna trade the third overall pick too, in order
for
for them
what?
to go all in. But bro, he's gonna turn 33 this summer in July. What is the point of keeping him on the roster with the current structure they have with the team being set up in Portland? There is a 0% chance they're going to be a serious contender no matter what they do. Keep Dame, trade the third pick, trade Anthony Simons for a better player, trade even Shaden Sharp, which I don't think they will because like
They should not.
he's the highest ceiling player. He has a very high ceiling.
I
But
think so.
as I was saying, bro, there is 0 point of this man being in Portland. No point at all. Like this is the highest value he's gonna have like throughout his entire career because he's at a good age, 32. He just had a great season. He had an All NBA caliber season. Balled his ass off when he was available. And do you know how much like capital you could gain from training a guy like Damian Lillard, a superstar player?
For sure.
Probably like what four first rounders. You know, if they were to pull the trigger.
You could get 4 first rounders. You could get stuff like Jalen Brown has been in some rumors. You could get, I mean, DeAndre Ayton and whatever picks the Suns have left. Like you could get these young enticing assets plus picks, but it's like it is interesting that you mentioned like this is where he is at the peak of his value because I feel like we've been saying that for like the last 2 3 years, where it's like he still has 3 4 years left on his contract. He's only 31, 32. And it's like, oh, now is the best chance to trade him. And they've kept on keeping him on these losing teams, and it's only done this to his value. Like you mentioned, he did have. I thought he had one of his best seasons this season, but it's like his age is only getting high. And it's like this team is only getting worse. Like Yusuf Nurkic is still the starting center, and Jeremy Grant is a free agent. We'll see if he resigns. But it's like this team is not winning. Why not just go all in for the rebuild? Because Dame said he's not going to be there for the rebuild. Dame's made that clear. He's made that clear to us that he doesn't want to be there for a rebuild. So it's another time where I think the organization has to take a step back and really think, look, we understand that as an organization we have to value loyalty because not a lot of teams do in this league. And if we can do that as a smaller market team, that's how maybe we can entice free agents with our loyalty. But at the same time, we also have to think about it like what's best for us. And at the end of the day, I think the best business decision would be to trade Dame. But then again, I don't think it's going to happen.
Unfortunately, well, Dame had arguably the best season of his career this year.
Yeah, he did.
Averaged more than 30 points per game, stupid efficiency, and all the Trailblazers could do was win 33 games.
He put up a 71 piece this season, didn't he?
And they still won 33 games. They weren't even close to a playing spot too either. So,
and they traded Josh Hart. Josh Hart would be perfect for that team if he played the way he's been playing for the Knicks, if he played the way that he does for the Knicks when he was still on the Portland Trailblazers, he would not be on the Knicks. But I'll take it. I got nothing bad to say. But you want to talk about the Josh Hart news? You want to talk about the Josh Hart news?
Bro, Nick's propaganda at his finest, man. No, I do not want to talk about Josh Hart.
You want to talk about the Josh Hart news?
No.
The controversial tweet?
No. Especially that, no.
That's crazy.
No.
Especially that. If you know, you know.
I do not.
Just know, Josh, I'll be joining that club one day.
Bro. Oh, let's move on to the next segment. I don't know. I feel uncomfortable talking about this right now, man. Like I
What's
don't.
next segment?
I don't.
Coaches?
Yeah. Let's talk about that. You know.
Let's go.
Yeah. Let's try to not make this episode less weird. This is a pretty weird episode right now.
Hey, it's all good.
Yeah. Just talking about Zion's baby mama, like baby mama drama, to this man. Like yo, it's getting
Hey,
weird.
hey. It's not the stuff you see on ESPN at the end of the
No, not not at all.
day.
Not at all. And that might be a good thing for them actually. But
Ooh,
moving on, let's talk about the recent coaching hirings around the league. Let's get to that. All right. So the first one I have down right now is the Pistons hiring Monty Williams.
I love the
Good
move.
move or a bad move?
I love the move. I really do. I think that Monty's going to bring one the culture. Obviously, I think that's an overused term nowadays in the NBA, but I really do think Monty will bring a culture to Detroit, and I think Detroit's making the play in next year. I mean, depending on what Cade Cunningham is, I mean, obviously he's coming off a pretty big injury, but if Cade Cunningham is the Cade Cunningham man, I think that they could be a playing team. I think that they would be a 9-10 team. I think they'd make the play in, but I think that Monty could be the a coach of the future for this team. Obviously, we saw the stuff that Monty was able to do, whether it was developing Devin Booker to be the best shooting guard in the league, developing Cam Johnson to be one of the best 3-and-D power forwards in the league, or where he had Mikal Bridges, where Mikal Bridges, once he became a one option, was able to take off and look like a perennial all star. So like I think that Monty Williams has consistently showed to develop young talent. He's also showed to win. So I think that's an amazing thing that the Pistons got.
Yeah, and I agree with you too as well, man. Some people they're saying now like, oh, why they make Monty the highest paid coach in the league in like league history, which one, bro, it the coach's money doesn't count towards the overall payroll for the team. So
Who cares?
don't worry about his business. Second, bro, it doesn't matter, man. If the organization they want him to get into their roster, they want him to coach the team. They want him to lead this young Pistons team to greatness, to playoff success, for long term success, bro. And that's just them being ambitious, and that means a lot with this Williams hire because you're getting one of the better coaches in the league with Monty. Of course, like you said, Matt, with his success in Phoenix, taking the Suns from a trash team, a team with no culture, with no direction, with no vision over the past decade, and taking them from a playoff contender and taking them to the finals alongside D Book, CP3, Aiden, the guys like that, and seeing their success over the years, I feel like Detroit, they're in a very good shape, especially with the young talent they have. Of course, the backcourt of Ivy and Cunningham, the big man, Jalen Dern, who I really like as a young talent, good defensive big, very very quick laterally, good shot blocker for his age. Wiseman, another young talent, he can develop as well under Williams. Yeah, so as I was saying, the Williams hire, I love it. 10 out of 10, A plus. Yo, long term project. It's probably gonna take a while before to become a serious team in the East, but hey, it's gonna work out in the end, in my opinion. It's gonna work out.
I agree. I agree. But let's talk about his replacement in Phoenix. Frank Vogel got hired for the Phoenix Suns head coach. What do you make of that move?
Oh, I really like the pick as well. Them getting Vogel, of course, with his term with the Lakers towards the end. I feel like he got a very bad rep for coaching that team. Looking back, when you take a glance of that roster the Lakers have, bro. What coach? What coach is gonna succeed with that?
Not a lot.
Like, be honest.
Not many.
He
Not
can,
many.
bro.
Maybe Spo, and that's about it.
Be
Spo and
completely
Pop.
honest with yourself because they made the trade for Russ. The majority of people back then when that trade happened, they were like, "Yo, how are they gonna fit AD, Braun, and Russ? How are those three gonna fit?" And what we saw during that season, we knew the answer, and that was not at all. It was a horrible fit. And so I feel like Vogel, he did the best he could. Obviously, he's a defensive minded head coach, and we've seen the success he's had over the years, of course, with the title team in 2020 with the Lakers, going a few years back with the Pacers team led by Paul George, Roy Hibbert, David West, those guys, year in, year out, they're elite defensively, competing for competing in the East for like almost half a decade. And so I feel like for the Suns, you get a veteran coach who's been in these situations before, a proven winner, and a guy that can improve a defensive team. Well, improve a team that was poor defensively this season.
Yeah, yeah. The one thing I'm interested about, I do like the move, like you said. I think that I thought that the two best candidates for this position were Frank Vogel and Nick Nurse. I actually would have preferred Nick Nurse for this, but I don't think Frank Vogel is like a bad second option by any means. So I was happy that they were able to get him. But the one big question I have for him is what happens with DeAndre Ayton now? Because obviously, was it 2021 when the Suns went to the finals?
It
Um,
was 2021.
DeAndre Ayton looked like a top five center in that playoff run, whether it was catching the game winning dunk against the Clippers, whether it was his elite rim presence throughout the playoffs. Like he looked very good in that series. And then immediately after, he went on a steep decline. And I think a big portion of that was just his deteriorating relationship with Monty Williams. And so what I'm interested to see now is if he likes Frank Vogel, if the two get along, if they have a good relationship, if his play will increase back to 2021 or close to there, or whether Frank Vogel comes in and says, "Look, I saw what you did in the playoffs. I don't want that. You're getting out of here."
I don't know if DeAndre Ayton was a top five center.
He
Um,
was playing that way. I don't think he was, but he was playing like a top five center back then.
yeah, but um, shoot, DeAndre Ayton, he got a ton of heat online from analysts as well across networks for
God,
his
that's some
play
good
during the
views.
playoffs. Yeah, yeah, man. We were critics of him as well, of course, but I don't know if the addition of Vogel that's gonna help mend that relationship because I've always felt like throughout the season, this year, I just felt like Aiden he checked out. He didn't want to be here. Of course, the Pacers they initially gave him that big contract to go over to their team in the past offseason. Phoenix matched that offer, and so he was stuck here for hmm, for the foreseeable future. And now it's like he doesn't want to be there. Well, from his body language and his play on the court and on the sidelines, he has the language showing that I don't want to be here. Um, my time's run out. They don't appreciate me, and I just want a new direction. I just want a new team to play for.
Yeah. Um, no. So I did pull up his stats from that 2021 playoff run. He averaged. Do you want me to round up or give you the flat numbers?
No, no, just round up, round up.
16 points, 12 rebounds, and one block a game on 65% from the field and 73% from the free throw line. I'm saying that's top five. I'm saying that's top five with the rim presence, with the memorable moments, because he did have a game winning dunk. He did have a game winning dunk. He and Chris Paul looked like they had one of the best pick and rolls. So I got to give him that. And then he got his ass worked in the finals, but he looked good that playoff run. If he could do that with now having KD, with with Devin Booker being the best shooting guard in the league, if they can get a 16 and 12 DeAndre Ayton with a consistent block a game, they would. But if they can get that consistency from him, I think that they would be happy.
Yeah. I honestly agree. I do agree.
Yeah, but I don't know. I just don't know how realistic that is. I think that he's not going to get traded right away. I don't think he's going to get traded right away. I think that Frank Vogel will try to see if he can kind of not unlock him, but try to find that motor again. Try to find the best DeAndre in within himself. Try to make him happy and welcome within that Phoenix Suns locker room and organization again. And then if it still doesn't work, I think he has till the trade deadline. Let me say that. I think he has till the trade deadline to try to figure it out. Because at the end of the day, this Phoenix Suns team is in a win now mode. They're in championship or bust. When you make a move like that to trade Mikal Bridges, Cam Johnson, and 4 or 3, I think it was 4 first-round picks
It
for a
was
guy like Kevin Durant. Devin Booker is on the roster. You just waived Chris Paul. Chris Paul, we'll see what happens with him, but he's only aging. Like your championship window is now, and you got to win now. So if you have a guy like DeAndre Ayton who might be valuable to some other teams, at least more valuable than he is on your organization, you might have to move him.
Yeah, fair enough. In conclusion, we both agree that Vogel, the hiring from Phoenix, that was a good deal, good hire.
Yeah, good hire.
All right. Let's move on to the Eastern Conference again. Adrian Griffith. No, Adrian Griffin. My fault.
That's
To
always the best
the
hire.
yeah, my fault. Adrian Griffin to the Milwaukee Bucks. How do you feel about that?
Here's my thing. I think I asked the group chat right after this because I didn't know a lot about Adrian Griffin. I asked the group chat, and you told me that it was a good move because you said, oh, he's one of the best assistants, and he looked very poised. He looked like he had been ready for the position for some time now. So I take your word for that because I do trust you there. But the one thing I'm worried about is trusting Giannis with a rookie head coach. I I'm not saying it's a bad thing because we obviously saw Steve Kerr was a rookie head coach and he took over a head coaching position with the Golden State Warriors and look how that turned out. So that obviously went down very well. But the one thing I'm worried about is just that you're trusting your Giannis is in his prime. You have aging co-stars like Chris Middleton and Drew Holiday, and we'll see if they bring back Brook Lopez. But it's like now is similar to the Phoenix Suns. It's like now is your championship window, and to bring in a guy who's a first-year head coach is just a little bit worrisome to me.
I actually disagree, and I've been searching about Griffin and his relationship with players recently, and from what I've seen, it's been mostly positive. Of course, he's been an assistant for over a decade now. He's gone from Milwaukee his first time to being with the Bulls, to the Magic, to the Thunder, and of course, most recently before he took the head coaching hire with the Raptors with Nick Nurse. And from what I've seen, players love him. They get along with him really well. They understand what his philosophy is and who he is as a coach and what he expects from his players. And so when I look into that Buck situation, yes, of course, like you said, they do have a lot of veteran pieces: Brook Lopez, Drew Holiday, Middleton, basically the entire roster. They've been there before. They've been in like deep. Well, they've been to playoffs numerous times before, deep postseason runs, and I don't see that being an issue with Griffin. To be honest, I really
Have
don't.
they said who's his assistant coaching staff yet? Have they named the assistant coaching staff yet?
I
Because
believe.
here's my thing is like um, I'm fine with the first year head coach, similar to Darvin Ham, even though like we had our reservations about Darvin Ham. The one contingency I like though is having an experienced assistant coaching staff, right? The Lakers have, I think it's Phil Hannity. Is I think that's his name.
Phil Handy.
Yeah, Phil Handy. He's one of the more experienced coaches in the league, and you could tell like he was obviously helping out. He was constantly standing up on the sideline, constantly in Darvin Ham's ear. We saw similar with the Celtics. I mean, Joe Mazzulla was the first year head coach. He kind of looked like he got out coached in the biggest moments. And what did they do? They brought in Sam Cassell, an experienced assistant coach. So it's like if they could surround him with some experienced guys who can kind of just mentor him, because even Steve Kerr was recently on the Draymond Green podcast, and he was kind of talking about how I can't remember the assistant coach's name, but it was before Mike Brown, and there were assistant coaches who were kind of explaining to him how big one adjustment can go in a playoff series and how it can completely alter a series. And I think those little small things that the experience gives you over time, if they're relayed down to the new head coach, I think that that's extremely valuable. But I think that if you have a first year head coach, you need that experienced coaching staff around him.
Yeah, I do agree with what you're saying, and with Griffin's coaching staff so far, reports have been saying Joe Prunty, Patrick Mutombo, and former Portland Trailblazers head coach Terry Stotts, they've all been hired to be part of the
Oh,
coaching
okay. I
staff.
like Terry Stotts. I don't like Joe Prunty. But
Uh,
I do like Terry Stotts. That's a good hire.
okay. Prunty, he's been there with Milwaukee before, dating back to 2018 when he was the interim head coach. Mutombo's an experienced assistant, and of course, Terry Stotts. He's been in the league for a minute with coaching, so
Prunty's been in Atlanta and San Antonio too, I think, right?
I believe so. Yes.
Yeah. No, I don't know. The only reason I don't like Prunty is because he's been like an interim head coach like at 3 or 4 different locations and has never got the job. So I'm like, it's like you got your foot in the building, you've been there, you've got the position that many times, and you can't hold it down. Like something's got to be wrong. That's my only thinking, but
I
that's all
mean, so
speculation.
sometimes like some coaches they work better as assistants than actual head coaches.
Yeah, true, true. Did did Steve Nash end up getting a job? I wasn't there like rumblings that he might become an assistant coach.
Nope.
He should
Nope.
not be.
And
Go to that studio and make a bag though.
be an analyst with TNT, like get your money and call it a day.
He be doing the analyst for soccer. I always see him like doing Champions League stuff with like Michael Edwards and Thierry Henry, but he'll never do it for NBA. I don't know why.
No. Yeah. Let's go. Last one, of course, Nick Nurse to Philadelphia.
Good move. Good move. Um, they replaced their coach with a better coach, and that's at the end of the day, that's all you want to do. I think that Nick Nurse is a better coach than Doc Rivers. I think that what Nick Nurse did in his time in Toronto, whether it was winning a championship or developing the young talent, whether it was Pascal Siakam, OG Anunoby, who am I blanking out on? Scotty Barnes. I think that Gary
Fred
Trent,
VanVleet.
Fred VanVleet, thank you, undrafted guy. I think that all that stuff is very impressive. I think when you still have some young core on this Philadelphia team, whether it's B-Ball Paul, Tyrese Maxey, Jaden Springer, we'll see if he becomes anything. I think that that's valuable. So I think one, he's been able to develop the young talent. I think the young talent can continue to improve, and I also think that he has championship poise like other coaches. So I think that's always a plus.
Yeah, I really like this move as well with Nick Nurse. I'm very high on Nick Nurse. I've been a Nick
Yeah,
Nurse guy ever since he took the job his first year with Toronto. Of course, winning a championship. The year after, winning Coach of the Year, helping Toronto become a top 3 seed that season. And for Philly, you get a guy that is one of the best X and O guys in the league. Something that Doc Rivers he isn't that type of guy. A guy like Nurse, who is also a tough figure, a guy that banks his hat on defense, a guy that can motivate his players to dig it out of tough situations. Something that Philadelphia they've been needing for years now, ever since they've started the whole process thing.
yeah. I think the one thing I always think back to is they came off their championship with Kawhi Leonard. and then COVID happens, and the bubble happens, and Toronto goes to Game 7 against Boston in the second round, even though they had a completely like diminished roster, depleted roster, and far worse roster than that championship core. And they took Boston, a much better team, I thought, than them, to 7 games. And it's like that whole series, they just look like a better coach team than the Brad Stevens Celtics. And I think that when you're going against Nick Nurse in the playoff series, it's hard to outcoach him. I think he is one of the best coaches in the league.
Yeah. I would honestly say top 5. I feel top 5.
Spo,
Yeah,
Spo, Pop, Kerr all have to be above him.
that's 3. And then
Who's
who else
better,
makes
Mike Malone,
5?
or Nick Nurse?
Nurse.
It's debatable, but we'll say Nurses. All right. I'm trying to go off the top of my head.
Monty Williams.
Mike Brown, who's better?
Nurse.
I think I'm taking Mike Brown after this season, but it's also only one season, so it's hard to
Bro,
say.
I mean, Mike Brown has a history with in the past with Cleveland, of course. They was winning 50, 60 win seasons with LeBron in the late 2000s. So I give him that, but I feel like Nick Nurse is a better coach with adjustments.
Nick Nurse or Joe Mazzulla? I like that phrase. Um, Nick Nurse or Taylor Jenkins though?
Nurse.
Nurse, I think so. It has to be Nurse. I would take Ty Lue over. I would take Ty Lue over Nick Nurse though. I think
Shoot.
they're also like very close. I think because it's like when not this past season, but 2 years ago when Kawhi was out for the whole season and Paul George was like battling with injuries, like he missed like half the season basically. The Clippers held it down as like that 8 seed without Kawhi or PG, and that was like a lot of Ty Lue coaching. Um, I wish that we could just see one full healthy season of the Clippers, so we could really see like what they got. But
That's not happening.
it's not. Well said. Well said. It's not happening, and that's the worst part because it's like it might go down as a failed experiment, but it's also like it's an incomplete experiment.
Yeah, that is true. I mean, it's been 4 years, man. Yo,
Yes,
they're never gonna do it. They're
it's
never gonna have a complete season at this point.
Ime or Nick Nurse?
I'm taking Nick.
Huh?
I'm taking Nurse.
I don't know. I don't know. I think I'm taking.
Ime wasn't top, bro. Ime wasn't top 5. I feel like, yeah. I don't think Ime was like was better than Nick Nurse.
If Ime takes the Rockets to a playing spot next year, does he deserve demand? Does he deserve praise?
Yeah, of course. But in my opinion, I just think Nurse is the better coach.
Rick Carlisle,
No,
Jamal Mosley.
no.
I take Nick Nurse over Tibbs. I take him over Jacques Vaughn, over JB Bickerstaff.
Chris Finch, I'd take, bro.
I'm not a giant fan of Chris Finch.
Nah, me neither. Willie
Will
Green.
Hardy.
I'd take Nurse over Will Hardy.
Yeah.
I'd take Nurse over Willie Green too. I'd take Nurse over J Kidd.
Yeah.
Who else?
Mark Dagna. Mark D.
I love what Mark Dagnall's been doing with that Thunder roster, but no, I still take Nurse.
He needs a little more time. He needs a little more time to make that conversation.
I would take Nurse over Quinn Snyder, Steve Clifford, Bickerstaff, Donovan. Like I'd take him over the majority of coaches in this league.
I think I'm taking Mike Brown over him though.
So you're saying Mike Brown's top 5?
I think he's top 6. I don't think Nick Nurse is top 5. Because I would have Ty
No,
Lue above him.
okay.
So we have those three. I would have Ty Lue. I would have Mike Brown. And then I would also have I would have Mike Malone. I would have Mike Malone.
Fair.
Those are my six. I would say Mike Brown is six though. I would say Mike Brown is like D6. He's probably tied with Nick Nurse.
Fair enough. For my
But
top
yeah,
five,
Nick,
it would be Spoelstra, Kerr, Pop, and then 4 would be Nurse, and then 5, I'll go with Ty Lue.
I'm a Ty Lue guy. I do like Ty Lue a lot.
Yeah,
That's a good list. That's a good list. That's a good list. I
that
would
would be my
switch your 4 and
5.
5, but other than that, I like your list.
Fair enough.
I like your list.
Shoot, man.
Bottom 5 coaches list.
On 5 right now. No particular order.
It would have been Steven Silas at 30.
Yeah, I'm sorry, but Steven Silas was like the worst coach in the league by far.
He got a job as a Pistons assistant, I think.
Yeah, he did get a job, which is good for him, man. Great for him. Like,
Are you putting Billups in the bottom 5?
yes,
It's not crazy. It's not crazy.
yes. What does he
Steve
do?
Clifford has to be there for me. I'm sorry. I don't like.
I'm not putting Steve Clifford. I'm not putting Steve Clifford in bottom 5.
Billy
What
Donovan.
did he do with Orlando?
Are you putting Billy Donovan in there?
But look what Steve Clifford did with Orlando, though.
I don't care about that shit.
Oh my god.
I'm caring about right now.
Would I put Billy Donovan there? I gotta think. I think looking at the current coaches, I would put Billy Donovan there.
You would?
Yeah, I would honestly.
I think I would too. So Billups and Donovan. It can't be Pop and it can't be Ime. It can't be
the Wizards head coach. The Wizards head coach, Wes Unseld Jr. Yeah. So
I don't know. I just don't think he has a talented team to work with though.
No, bro, no. I've seen Wizards games during his tenure. I don't see it with him.
He had a decent first year when they started KCP. He had a decent first year. He had a worse second year. So that I'm fine with him being in the bottom 5.
Bro, they fired their GM too. At that point, just fire the coach. Just start over.
Yeah. Rick Carlisle is a good coach. He can't be in there. Damn.
Chris Finch.
Bottom 5.
Did we say Finch?
Is he really bottom 5 though?
I'm looking at it right now, and it's like
there's not a lot of bad coaches if we're keeping it a buck.
You might have to put Finch.
I feel like that's so harsh. I feel like that's so harsh, but it might have to be him.
You might have to.
It might have to be him. Even though I think but I also think he's done such a good job developing the young talent there.
Chris Finch? Oh.
Yes. The McDaniels brother, Nas Reed, Anthony Edwards.
I don't know. I really don't like.
I think it's more the GM is just garbage at his job.
Nah, I don't like Finch.
I don't either, but I don't think he's bottom 5.
No, bro, I'm looking at it right now. I feel like he
bottom
5 coach. Ham's not. He beat the he's like in the middle of the pack. He's in the middle of the pack.
He beat the allegations.
I would put Willie Green.
I won't just because they were a top 2 seed in the NBA when Zion was healthy. That's
I don't know with the amount of talent on their roster, man.
They should be further, but I also think that if they stay healthy, they're a top 3 seed in the West.
And then he has shown to get absolutely cooked in the coaching battle. We saw that in the playing game versus the Thunder. The Pelicans had no business losing to the Thunder in that playing game. No, I feel like Willie Green.
They're too talented to not make the playoffs. I 100% agree with that. But the only reason I can't put them bottom 5 is because they reached the high. They were the 1 seed at one point in the West because of, and it's like there's no team in the league that's a 1 seed without a good coach.
I don't think it's because of Willie Green.
I don't think any coach could have come in and made them a 1 seed though. I think the system when Zion was in was so nice. The system when Zion was in, whether it was him running point forward or him the post touches that he would get and just play make out of the post, I thought was really good. I also thought that the pace they played with was really fast, and it's something that they stopped playing with when Brandon Ingram came back and Zion left. I thought that was probably the biggest difference was the pace they played with. Um, but there's not a lot of bad coaches, and all it's kind of hard because all the bad coaches got fired. Like Steven Silas got fired, Dwayne Casey got fired, even though Dwayne Casey's not horrible. Um,
He was a bad fit in Detroit. I never
he
liked
was a
that
bad
hire.
fit though. He was a bad fit. I don't know. I mean, I just think Willie Green is so hard. I'm okay putting Chris Finch if it means we don't have to put Willie Green. I would
I'm
rather put
looking at
Jason Kidd than Willie Green.
Jason Kidd.
I
I
would
don't
rather put
know.
Jason Kidd than Willie Green.
I don't think Jason Kidd top 5 worst.
I don't know. I think at least like what players have said about Willie Green is positive. I haven't like not that I've heard players say negative things about Jason Kidd because I haven't heard that at all. But Jason Kidd be ripping his players in press conferences. He rips the fuck out of Luca for his defensive tuck into the refs.
Which is completely fair because Luka's a horrible defender.
Yeah, but to
No
rip him
offense
the way
to
he does, like he be calling him out. Like I would do like that's something I would do behind closed doors.
I see where you're coming from.
But just like we talked about the Pelicans not making the playoffs, like at least the Pelicans made the play in. Like the Mavericks have Luka Doncic and they didn't make the play in.
I don't know. The Mavericks had a lot.
Garbage roster spots.
Yeah, they had a
They were
lot.
garbage in the roster 3 through 10.
Yeah. Um,
Um,
and they basically panicked by getting Kyrie at the trade deadline too, just as a
100%.
last ditch effort to please Luka and be like, hey man, we're trying to make this a win now situation with this roster, even though it didn't work in the end, and we had to tank the last 2 games to not make the
Yeah,
play in. So,
yeah,
but yeah, that's pretty much it.
yeah.
So all the coaches and which head coach hire do you like the most?
Ooh, good question. I like the Monty Williams hiring the most.
Same thing. I was gonna agree.
Weibo.
I was gonna agree with you. I mean, Detroit, they've been a struggling franchise for years now, man. They've tried over and over, whether it was the Josh Smith, Andre Drummond, Greg Monroe experiment way back then. Um, them trading for Blake Griffin, having a duo of Griffin and Drummond, that didn't work. Having mediocre team after mediocre team, season after season for like over a decade now. You bring in a respectable head coach in this league, a coach that has won before, a coach that has been successful in a situation like this, rebuilding a team that has been poor for years. I feel like that's an excellent hire. I love it.
No, for sure. I think our group chat has like a thing towards the Detroit Pistons. Like the previous generation kind of got to grow up watching the Sacramento Kings, and that's kind of why they were like all rooting for the Kings, and everybody was so happy to see the Kings in the playoffs this year because it was like they lived through that. But with our lifetime, I mean, sure the Pistons have made the playoffs. They were the 8th seed, as you mentioned, with the Blake and Andre Drummond duo. But we've never seen like the bad boy Pistons that were hyped up or the '04 Pistons that won a championship. Like most of us, I think we were all born '04 or before. So
Yeah.
it's like we never got to see that. And then, like now they have a young, exciting core with all those pieces, and they might have got the piece to finally connect the dots. Let's hope.
100% agree.
Let's hope.
100%.
Who do you think?
Detroit.
Hold on. Last thing about Detroit basketball. Who do you want them to get with their 5th pick?
Their 5th pick.
Because let's be honest, we know who the top 3 are going to be.
Wemby, Brandon Miller, and then Scoot.
Right. So then, who do you want to see them get?
Jeez, man. Um, I'm not much of a draft guy. Don't know that much about college basketball, but what I've been seeing from mock drafts and scouting reports, I think they could take Cam Whitmore at 5. I don't think that would be a bad pick at 5.
I don't think Cam Whitmore would be bad. Jarris Walker would be solid. I don't think they'll take him either.
Yeah.
Um, I could, I don't know. I could see them going one of the Thompson twins, but it's like they already have their guard positions.
No, they're not going for the Thompson twins. They got their backcourt of the future. I think their main position right now is looking at getting a wing
Yeah,
go alongside
I
a
think so.
Kane and a Ivy. So
I think so. I won't mind Jarris Walker for them.
mhm.
But yeah.
Shoot.
Okay.
Oh my god, we're almost at 2 hours with this.
Yeah. If you've watched all the way, comment Cookie Monster. And we know you made it all the way.
That's so corny. Please don't
Hey,
comment that.
shout out Jokic. I'll be the first in the comments commenting Cookie Monster.
Do it. I'm probably gonna delete it.
Don't be like that.
I don't know. But yeah, man, that pretty much wraps it up for this episode. Thank you guys so much for watching. Again, follow us on all social media platforms on TikTok, IG, and YouTube, all with the handle at Lunchroom Debates. We're almost at 1K on IG, so please help us out. Please, please, please help us out. That would be much appreciated. And yeah, we're gonna sign off.
Peace.
Peace out.